Well, back home on Dalal Street, market snapped six-day gaining streak to end lower on Friday. The Nifty fell around 125 points to end below 11,000 mark, and the Sensex also slipped over 400 points at close. The mid-cap index declined in line with benchmark indices, and the Nifty Bank was also subdued in trade. So, Nigel, the global cues are also not looking very strong. The markets didn't do well on Friday. Yeah. What are the cues we are watching out for today's trade?
Well, as you said, the global piece is looking a little jittery. Remember, we were running because the global piece looked very, very good. Couple of reasons. One is what's happening in terms of the trade tensions. That's point number one. The second factor is, are we really seeing slow economic growth? And that's a bit of a worry, you know, for the globe on the whole. In Friday's trading session, just to give you a quick recap, the Nifty was a nice six-session winning streak. That came to an end. Remember, from the lows of January 29, 2019, the Nifty was up nearly around 500 points approximately. A couple of factors played out. One was Tata Motors came out with a disappointing set of numbers. But, you know, the bulls, they could digest that and the markets could digest that. The problem was in the second half of trade, you had Mahindra & Mahindra coming out with their set of numbers. And that as well was quite disappointing. Not just that, they have, you know, cut their guidance as well. So that's what really broke the back. And that's where the Nifty ended at the low point of the day. You know, the FIs, they have been pumping in money. No different in Friday's trading session. They pumped in close to around 840 crores approximately. But the DIs, they are using this opportunity after supporting this market for many, many months. They, in fact, are using the opportunity to actually sell into the markets. It's actually a net sell number of around 960 crores. So net, the institutions were net sellers in Friday's trading session. The DI is selling 960 crores. The FI is buying close to around 840 crores. If you're looking at the future space, the live indicator we have is the premium on the Nifty futures. That came down to around 13%, telling you that could be some shorting at the top. But at the end of the day, I looked at the data more closely, and it appeared that there was more unwinding. Nifty futures open interest, that was lower. You look at the Nifty Bank open interest, that as well was lower. And the FIs, yes, they did add more shorts than longs. Wasn't very large, but they added close to 2 shorts for every 1 long position that they added. But it appeared there was a lot of shorting in the stock futures. Because of there, they added more than 7 shorts for every 1 long position. In terms of the index options data, they bought 3 calls for every 1 put. That's surprising. So in case we're going to get up and going, they prefer to play this now via calls. But they unwound some of the puts written as well. The key technical levels you're looking at, you know, Sonal, I'm looking at the 200 DMA. That's going to be quite important because that comes in at around 10,855. So we'll keep an eye out on that front. And in terms of, you know, where the resistance comes in, we U-turn from around that 11,118 odd mark. So that becomes, you know, a bit of a resistance as well.
Absolutely. Those are important levels that we'll be watching out for. But what are the stocks that you're looking at today?
We're looking at Mahindra & Mahindra, right? So they've cut their guidance. Now they're anticipating lower than earlier anticipated growth. So growth guidance has been cut to around 10% from around 12 to around 14%. UBS has gone ahead. They have cut their target price as well. They're also talking about the PV industry growing at a little slower pace, maybe 5% at best. Tata Steel, well, you have a bullish argument, you have a bearish argument. The stock ended at the low point of the day in Friday's trading session with a cut of around 3.5 to around 4% odd. The EBITDA per ton came in at around 16,400 rupees. But remember, that's they're added back the Forex loss as well, and that's where you're getting it at around 16,400. If you had to include that, then it would be 1,000 rupees lower, and the street doesn't like that too much. So Tata Steel, let's see whether or not how much of the bad news has been factored in. BPCL, well, the core GRM as well as the reported GRM came in better than at least what we were working with. So we'll keep an eye out on that stock. Moving to the broader markets, though, Nalco will be a stock in focus. Remember, the stock has corrected from 95 to sub-60 levels. Or Motilal's cut their EPS estimates big time for the next couple of years, though they maintain their buy with the target price of around 69 rupees. But let's talk about some good things early this morning. Sun TV, those numbers look quite good. Valuation-wise as well, quite cheap. You have the ad revenue, subscription revenue, both of them were better than what we were working with. Apollo Hospitals, there's a con call today at around 8:30 odd. But, you know, if you're looking at the numbers, look fairly good. Revenue growth of around 17%. You can't really follow those numbers. MONTE, CARLO, remember there's been an extended winters this time in India. That's good news for them then, because the numbers look quite good, up close to around 20%. Dilip Bilcon has seen a lot of selling pressure, but at least the numbers were a little bit better than what we were working with. Sticking with the good numbers, DFM Foods, after a while, the company has come out with a good set of numbers. So good going out there, good profit growth, good revenue growth as well. But plenty of weak numbers. Balkrishna Industries, so they're big margin compression. NHPC, big margin compression. You have PC Jewelers, the net profit is down, they've degrown. The export business in particular is under pressure, so keep an eye out on that one. Indo count as well, margin compression from 15% to around 5.5% doesn't look good at all. And VST Tillers, the sales numbers weren't good. The margins as well did see a sharp compression out there. And you're getting worried when you're looking at some of these numbers because Varteg, Wabag as well, they have lowered their guidance than what they anticipated earlier. Close to around 500 crores is what they've cut in terms of an order inflow as well as the revenue guidance. And finally, moving away from results, you have Lupin that will be in focus. The Goa plant has got 2 observations post the US FDA inspection. They're hopeful that they can solve this warning letter in the first half of 2020. So we'll keep an eye out on that stock. It ended high with a gain of around 1% in Friday's trade. And Dr. Reddy's, they have received around 11 observations for the Bachupalli facility in Hyderabad. And that's one of the most important facilities. So let's see how the stock reacts to that one.
All right, that's a long list. We'll be watching out for those stocks. But now it's time for a break. Up next, Tata Steel and BPCL will react to numbers today. We get to key highlights on the other side.